been a beautiful few days up here. I've been out and seen the best and the worst, unfortunately, of what's going on up here. The best being this fantastic proposal for a Great Koala National Park, and we were out with it's something it's an idea that's time has absolutely come, and that's come at the same time when the industry that's undermining the future for the forest and for the koalas now is so obviously not environmentally sustainable and not economically sustainable. Your community needs a different future, the forests need a different future, and the koalas need that absolutely as well. I've got to be honest, I get the sense travelling around with the committee that's up here looking at the future of the timber industry that there's a recognition on all sides of politics that something's got to give. In part that's because the fires have made that an absolutely essential. There's an ecological imperative for change, but the reality is that the native forest logging industry offers very, very little economic future for those people currently working in it and for the communities that live in and around our forests. We know that those trees, those magnificent trees, are worth so much more standing than on the back of a truck or turned into a pallet or a tomato steak, or worst of all, wood chipped and sent overseas. They are worth so much more than that. The reality is that keeping those trees standing, those forests intact, allowing them to age and mature and diversify is the thing that is going to be both an economic opportunity for your community, the saviour of our koalas, but also one of the biggest single contributors to taking action on climate change that you have and that we have here in New South Wales. This can only happen if you keep doing what you're doing now. This pressure is really important. It is being felt inside the Parliament, inside this committee. This industry knows that something's got to give. We're having that discussion and that debate now, in part because of the work that you're doing and that many generations have done before in championing our forests. So I just wanted to say thank you and acknowledge the work that you've done, acknowledge you being here today, and that I have a great deal of optimism that something is going to give here, and let's hope that thing is a Great Koala National Park for the Coffs Coast. But we need to make sure this is an election issue in the lead up to 2023. And it was great to see a candidates forum making it an election issue in this election, where the Commonwealth coalition government has been absolutely terrible when it comes to protecting threatened species, protecting the koala and protecting our forests. Let's make sure we get a good outcome in that election and have someone that's supportive of the idea of transitioning this industry and protecting the forests of the Great Koala National Park, and then let's quickly reorientate to the opportunity that comes with the 2023 state election and make sure protecting our forests and exiting native forest logging is one of the key asks for this community and all of the forest communities across the state.
Thank you, Justin. We love you. You're beautiful. Thank you.
Stand up for forests!
Stand up for forests!
Stand up for forests!
Stand up for forests! Stand up for forests! Stand up for forests! Stand up for forests! Stand up for forests!
Stand up for forests!
Stand up for forests!
Well done, Justin. Thank you very much. Dailan Pugh. Dailan Pugh is also here. And that's awesome. Dailan, of course, Justin's got to go back in and actually be part of the inquiry. Dailan's going to be testifying to the inquiry soon, so if we could have a few minutes for Dailan, if everyone's got a few minutes left in this sunshine here, and we can hear what Dailan's got to say about what's going on for our forests.
So unfortunately, they've all stepped in the back door apparently, so they're trying to avoid us. They don't want to know what the public wants to say, well, a lot of them don't want to know what the public wants to say. But I think it's really important you're all here, and I thank you all for coming, because we represent the majority of Australians. The timber industry themselves did an assessment, a community attitude survey of 12,000 people around Australia. 67% wanted no native forest logging. Only 17% did. That's the timber industry's own statistics. So we know we represent the silent majority. Isn't that a good thing?
Yes.
We can represent the silent majority. But we can't afford to be silent ourselves. We need to speak up and speak loudly to get the message across that it's just not on anymore. The extinction, the federal government has a responsibility for them and they've abrogated it totally. So the koala's been uplisted as, we're on the koala's listed as vulnerable. The government did nothing. The federal government made no change to the logging rules, did nothing whatsoever. Now it's been uplifted to endangered. They're doing nothing again. So we have these horrible logging rules that are wiping out our koalas, that even the Office of Environment and Heritage said will cause a decline in our koalas. So the government went ahead and approved these crappy rules anyway. So, you know, it's really important that we stand up our forests even more now than ever before. We're in the midst of an extinction and a climate change crisis. You know, things are dire. We've got to turn this around within a decade. And that's not starting in a decade. We've got to start now and reduce our carbon emissions from anywhere between 45 to 60% by the end of this decade. The only way we can do that is protecting forests.
Yes.
Trees are the only proven method of carbon capture and storage. So we need to protect our trees from further logging, which emits more carbon, so that they can reclaim the carbon they've lost. They lost about half their carbon, they can get that back if we give them a chance. And all we need to do is stop logging. And stopping logging on public land, we can do that within a year or two. Yeah, the industry stuff, the native forest industry is mostly floorboard. You know, most of the house frame is all pine. And look, there's alternatives to hardwood floorboards. We don't need to cut down our koala feed trees for floorboards. It's just not on anymore. So we need a change, and we need to make that change.
Tall trees, warm fire, strong winds, deep water. I feel my body, in my body. I feel it in my soul. I feel it in my soul.
Where's your drum?
Tall trees, warm fire, strong winds, deep water. I feel it in my body. I feel it in my body. I feel it in my soul. I